What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, so we're going to try this live stream, and I have to figure out how to share it. So let's check it out. Let's see if we can do it for... We're going to hit it up on a few of these. Let's see what it looks like when you create a post on Facebook. Let's see. All right. It's starting. Let's see what happens. There. Here we go, guys. Y'all are going to have to bear with me for a second. We are going to talk trees. We're going to talk insurance. It's going to be an insurance class for free, baby. Okay, let's get it going here. Okay. Let's see, how do we do this? Sorry, I'm trying to go live here, and some of these are sell something groups. Okay. Hold on, guys. Got two people going. Hang tight, because y'all are going to like what we're about to talk about. If you've been waiting for me to talk about trees and insurance, this is what you've been waiting for. Trust me on that. Let me just see if I can get this into a couple other groups. Here we go. Get this bad boy into live. All right, let's see here, guys. It's going to take me just a minute. Okay, there. I don't even know. Let's see. Do we have... How do I get to the comments on this bad boy? Let's see. Top chat. Pop out chat. All right, I got the pop out chat going. Got 7 people in here. Hold on, guys. I got to just hit this up. Share it with everybody on, if you could, share it with some people on some groups. Because what we're going to talk about is, we are going to talk about insurance claims, the basics, HO1, HO2, HO3s. We're going to talk about coverages. We're going to talk about the history of these things. How this stuff started, guys, in case you were wondering. My name is Mark. I'm an ISA certified arborist. I'm also a licensed public adjuster in the state of Georgia. Been in the business for 24 years. And it's time to start talking insurance. Free class, baby. Doesn't cost you anything. And we're going to start... we're going to go for it. It's going to be good. And let me just tell you before you log off or go somewhere else, if you want more of this content, go to 770arborist.com/mailing list. Join the mailing list and the network that we're creating. And it doesn't cost you a penny. And you will be privy to maybe inside information. Hold on just a second. Maybe not inside information per se, but at minimum, hold on just a second. Sorry. I'm getting this going. It's taking me just a second. Okay. Wondering if anything is going up. Okay. So, well, let's do this. I put it up. So what we're going to do, hold on, let me turn off my headset here. And guys, I do believe you can hit me up in the... Oh, we're going to kill that comment, whatever that is. I believe you can hit me up in the comment section and ask questions that you're interested in when it comes to trees and insurance. But what I'm going to do, hold on just a second, guys. I got to kill one of these. Something's playing in my ear. I'm going to turn that off before we get started. Okay. Okay, guys, let's talk about insurance and trees. Sorry it took me so long to get this thing started. Okay, so the first thing, let's talk about a little bit. How do we start this? We start this by saying if you're interested in trees, insurance, trees on houses, what do insurance companies pay? How do you invoice? That's what we're going to be going over. So this video is going to cover the basics, right? So when you become a licensed public adjuster or a licensed adjuster, you have to register with the state. You've got to take a test. You got to study. There's a lot of things in there that maybe won't be super relevant for just the niche of pulling trees off houses. But what we are going to do, sorry for that noisy mic, what we're going to focus on, what I think are the things that are relevant for us as it comes to removing trees off houses, invoicing the carriers, understanding what is covered, what isn't, and why. But in order to do that, what we need to do is we need to kind of get a history of insurance policies, how they came about, and why they are what they are. And so let's just talk a little bit about the history of, I'm just going to go back here. Okay, a little bit about the history of policies. And this may be a little bit boring, but let me tell you, I've done hundreds and hundreds of claims in the last 3 years, really. And this information is, while not required, it's eye-opening. It's very eye-opening because I remember when I first got licensed as an adjuster, I remember some of the things that I learned. I was like, wow. Until I started studying it, I was like, I didn't even know that that's how it was, I guess is the best way to say it. So the first thing let's talk about is ISO, Insurance Service Office. So the ISO, I believe it was created, ISO was, the easiest way to say this, ISO was kind of like the TCIA is to us, okay, or the ISA is to us. Originally, here's a buddy of mine. What's up, dude? Oh, let me call. I'm on a live right now on YouTube. You should go jump on. What? Huh? It's just 770 Arborist. Yeah, yeah. Let me call you back here in a little bit. All right, bye. Okay, so ISO was formed, I think, in the 70s. And the idea behind ISO was to kind of create standards in the same way that we have the insurance service. Is it do we have the, what is it? Oh, now my brain is ANSI standards, ANSI, ANSI standards with the Z133. Man, my brain was freaking out over those things. Okay, so we have ANSI, that are standards, and the TCIA helps develop those standards to go into the Z133. And what that does across the country is it creates things that every person in the country kind of contributes as a body and everybody's on the same page. That was the idea with ISO way back when in the 70s. What they did, and the reason I bring it up and why the history is important is because what they did is they created some really basic policies. And they're known as HO1, HO2, HO3s. And we're going to go into those here in a minute. Why that's important to create those standards, and this is what opened my eyes, because before I became an adjuster, and I've heard a lot of tree guys talking about this on the forums. They're like, oh, in my state, they only do this or that or that or this. And that's totally off base. It's not as much as state per state basis as a policy per policy basis. So, and by the way, you guys see the disclaimer in this thing. None of this is legal advice. This is entertainment purposes only. That's what my lawyer told me to put up on the screen. Okay, so getting back to the different policies, is the first thing I think that we need to keep in mind is it's always what is in the policy, right? That's the coverages. It's always what's in the policy. And there are some certain type of policies that could, we'll talk about it in a minute with exclusionary policies, HO3s, I believe HO1s and 2s could probably have handwritten exclusions. I probably should remember to share that with you guys as we go through this. This is going to be a very long video if my voice doesn't wear out. So basically there's HO1, HO2, HO3 back in the day. Okay, and as time went on, is it Exactware? No, it's who owns Verisk. Okay, so Verisk is a big company. You know, us tree guys are all little companies. Verisk is big. And Verisk basically bought ISO. So I got to be real careful about getting into whys, but they did. They procured it. They brought it in-house. And so now, and Verisk, as a side note, guys, this is really eye-opening stuff, because once you understand, you know how sometimes regulators in the in the government will end up working for the commercial sector, or later on the commercial sector will end up like going into a regulation. Well, in this case, Verisk ended up kind of in assimilating a nonprofit. And it's interesting because Verisk offers so many services to the insurance industry. Okay, so they offer standard policy, ISO policies, through Insurance Service Office that they procured. They also offer, through one of their subsidiaries, Verisk owns Exactware. And Exactwares, for some of you guys may know. Man, I think I'm clipping out with my mic, dude. This is bugging me. Let me see if I can turn this mic down just a little bit. Check 1, 2. Check, 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 check. Okay, that's better. I'm tagging that mic too hot. Okay, so some of you guys may know about Xactimate. So sometimes when you're like dealing with an insurance carrier, you're like, they're saying, well, Xactimate doesn't have that. Well, that's owned by Verisk. So the weird thing is, some of the policies that you're like, sometimes the policies that the homeowner owns is like controlled by Verisk, like the language on it. And so is the pricing. That's weird. And by the way, let's talk about the reason why, because I didn't get into it. Let's take it back a step. In the 70s, 80s, it was seen that as adjusters moved around from state to state, or lawyers, for example, were practicing in other states, and judges and insurance commissioners' offices in each one of the states, what was needed is that there needed to be a standardization, so that every time you moved around, you didn't have to relearn a whole new set of rules, right? So if you were an adjuster and you were licensed in whatever, North Carolina, you could go practice in Florida and have the same like playbook, right? The same HO1, HO2, HO3. These policies are all kind of the same, right? And that way, like if a policy, like you could move around from state to state without there being, just without a lot of inefficiencies. That, I believe, is why it started. But in the process, well, I'm not going to go into why Verisk would have ingested, assimilated. I'm sorry. Yeah, why Verisk would have assimilated ISO, but they did. Okay, so all of that being said, let's go a little bit to past that. And by the way, oh shoot, I'm not looking at my comments. If you guys have a comment, and by the way, if you want to be updated within this network, go to the mailing list, 770arborist.com/mailing list. Enter your company information. We want to connect with you for sure. Hit like and subscribe on this. Okay, so now here's another question: is ISO paper or ISO forms versus what the industry is called writing their own paper? Okay, so writing their own paper, some of the bigger companies who have the bandwidth or maybe the finances, they'll write their own insurance policies. Hold on just a second. I'm going to move this over so I can see if anybody asks a question. So the insurance carriers will effectively, the ones that have the money that they want to spend the money to go to each state and get their particular updated policy, because you got to approved, will spend the money to do that, pay the insurance commission, say, hey, have your lawyers look at this. Does this all match the state laws? And if it does, this is the policy we want to offer. See, ISO made that process go away, because if an insurance carrier went into a state and said, we want to, we have the financial backing, we want to compete against all the other carriers, rather than spend all the money on the legal up front, they could just say, well, we're going to use the standard 3 forms. But alternatively, you could be writing your own paper. Most of those are variants off of 1, 2, and 3, and a lot of them are changing. Hold on, guys. I gotta turn this down because this is definitely a little hot. Our heaters. So a lot of those, a lot of the bigger companies are writing their own paper. You have different carriers, and they have like the gold policy, the this, the that. So that's the term writing their own paper. Okay, so we are going to get into what are the duties of the carrier after a covered event. Okay, so the carriers, so did we go through the definitions of covered events? I don't think we did. Oh my goodness. My description in this video is lame because I got to talk about some of those. Let me bring up real quick. And guys, in case I'm going to hit this, this is I'm going to hit this in the chat real quick. Check this out. This is TCIA published that article, which is misconceptions about property insurance coverage for trees on houses, because there's just so stinking much misinformation out there. So let's start with a few definitions. So indemnification. Indemnification is the primary function of property insurance. To indemnify a policyholder is to bring the policyholder back to a pre-loss condition in the event of a covered peril causing a loss. Those are 2 words, covered peril and loss. What does that mean? Let's go to the next one. A loss of asset resulting from pure risk. This is typically physical loss or damage to a property used as a requirement threshold to trigger coverage. So when you lose, so indemnification is coming back to pre-loss condition. A loss is when your pre-loss condition goes down financially, and then that triggers coverage to bring you back up to pre-loss condition. In most cases, the property's physical change or structural damage is easily visible with the naked eye. So a peril, and it's really kind of neat, perils and hazards are different. I didn't know that. A hazardous condition. So a peril is an event that causes damage to the property. So there are different coverages with different covered perils. Okay, so HO1 has an HO1 policy, which is the most basic policy, has, I think, 12 covered perils. An HO2 has 16, and an HO3 has unlimited. It is an exclusionary policy. Okay, so meaning everything is covered except for what's listed as excluded. Okay, a peril is an event that causes damage to the property. There are different types of perils. Some are covered and some are not. When it comes to trees on the houses, one of the most common covered perils from trees falling is wind. So another covered peril is fallen objects. So windstorm is one, okay, with a tree causing something to happen, blowing a tree down. So maybe that covered peril could be fallen objects, which is found on HO2, not HO1. Okay. In fact, let's look at HO1 real quick. HO1 covered PER. And I really want to share my screen, guys, but my lawyer says it may not be a good idea. I can share a link with you that I'm looking at, I do believe. The reason I'm not going to share my screen is, guys, this information, you need to like and subscribe, and you need to sign up to our mailing list. This information, we're going to go into a lot more than just this. That being said, I'm not 100% convinced that the carriers are going to, I just don't, anyway, maybe I won't even go there. I'm not showing anybody's screens because my lawyer says that there may be copyright stuff. I have no idea. I'm not into that. Let's see. Covered peril list, LIST. Let's just look at this real quick and you can, here. Lemonade has a great, okay, so check this out. This is a link that you can check out. And Lemonade. So you got to follow along with me. HO1's on Lemonade site says, these are the covered perils: fire and lightning, windstorm and hail, explosion, riots, aircraft, vehicles, smoke, vandalism and malicious mischief, theft, volcanic eruptions. Okay, so that's 1 through 10. And now let's see. They say, this is Lemonade. An HO2 policy is another basic policy. It covers 10 plus fallen objects, weight of snow and ice, sleet, weight of snow, sleet or ice. In total, it covers 16 perils. Darn it, it's not showing the 16 perils. That's double annoying. That's double annoying because I had that list. But wind, windstorm and hail, HO1. Sorry, I took a really long time to say that. That's on an HO1. Second, which is Voy, FYI, Harry Jones. Boy, FYI. Voy is I go. Si quiere hablar en español, podemos hacer eso también. I should really do some of these in Spanish also. Okay, man, I'd probably rather do them in Spanish anyway. Okay, so you got HO1s that have the first 10. HO2 has fallen object. HO3 has HO3 is an exclusionary policy, meaning if it's everything's covered unless they write in there, this is excluded, that's excluded. I told you this is going to be kind of boring, but the little things like the idea of, wow, like, haven't you seen people talk about a lot where they're like, in my state, our state allows for this or that? Nah, bro, these are all standardized. They're all standardized all across the country. They're like all the same. Like when I saw that for the very first time, I was like, wow, that's crazy. I never knew that. And it's nice because it kind of takes the mystery out of this. More than anything, when you remove a tree off a house, and we're going to get into that in future videos, so like and subscribe and join our mailing list. And that's important, guys, because you guys are going to get this information for free. It's not going to cost you a penny. Not a penny. it's it takes some of the fear out of it, because I mean, like, look, dude, this is some blue collar mix, right? This is blue collar. You know, a lot of us guys, there's a lot of blue collar stuff going around, and like some of those policies and things can be kind of intimidating. And so when I found out that a lot of this stuff was standardized and that I could just learn one and learn some basic concepts, and I was like 90% of the way there, that was a breath of fresh air. Okay, let's keep on going. We are going. Okay. Oh, we were reading through the misconceptions. I got caught up on peril. By the way, as a side note, hazards and perils are different. In fact, let's look what difference between. Oh, look at that. It auto-completed. Google is so rad, dude. It knew what I was searching for, and hazards between, or differences between, and it finished perils and hazards for me. Okay. So a peril is a potential event or factor that can cause a loss. Let's see. This is where I'm looking at it. I'll hit it up in the notes here. Okay. Okay, a peril is a potential event or factor that can cause a loss, such as the possibility of a fire or the possibility of a windstorm. Okay, here's a hazard. Hazard is a factor or activity that may cause or exacerbate. Okay, so such as a can of gasoline left outside the house, or like, for example, are you going to be able to buy homeowners insurance the day before or 2 days out in a coastal city for hurricane insurance as a hurricane is bearing down? No, the hazard is high right then. They probably stopped selling those policies and activating them because it's high hazard. You can't do that right then. Kind of like you can't get life insurance after you know that you have a terminal illness. High hazard. But the illness itself would be probably a peril, I guess. Right? Maybe that's right. A potential event or factor that can cause a loss. The hazard would be smoking, right? Maybe that's a better example. Again, all of this is for entertainment purposes only, baby. Like and subscribe and join the mailing list, because we're going to do something big, guys. I'm telling you, I've been at this for years and years and years, and we're going to keep on growing this thing. I've been debating doing this class for a couple of years, and I'm just telling you, it's going to get good. So let's see. Where are we at? Let's see. Okay, so coverages. Okay, there are many different types of coverages afforded by property insurance, and typically each has its own limits of coverage. Let's focus on the two primary ones, coverage A, coverage B. By the way, as a side note, guys, something that's really interesting, and I just learned this the other day. Remember, every carrier has a little bit of their own. Like when they write their own paper, things can change. So these are very general. I had a claim. It was like within the last couple weeks, and the adjuster called me, and he was like, I was like, yeah, the tree was on the fence, coverage B, and he's like, no, that's coverage A, extended dwelling. And I was like, what? I was like, no, it's coverage B. Oh, it was a girl. And I was like, are you sure? And she's like, yep, I know for sure. Turns out that most carriers have coverage B is, we'll go through it. Coverage A typically covers the main dwelling, or this is for the majority of carriers out there. Coverage A typically covers the main dwelling or house, or in case of commercial policy, the commercial building, the removal of a tree off of a primary structure typically has no limit for the tree removal, but rather the limit of the policy itself. The reason they can't put a limit on it is because every single situation is different. You take a tree on a house, maybe that's in the backyard, and you can get a small crane to it, drive it right up against the house, reach over, grab it, and put it. Okay, no big deal because you got the crane there. Now, put a 60-foot driveway, 70-foot driveway with a creek on the end and a little unrated bridge that you don't know how much that bridge can hold. Now all of a sudden you need 60 feet plus the other 70 feet. So you're at 130 feet. And that little itty bitty crane that is, less expensive to get out there. Now you need a huge 200-ton crane. So the reason why there's not necessarily a limit, and a lot of guys, we're going to address pricing maybe one day. I got to figure out how to breach that subject. But what I was going to say is the reason why there is, let's see, they can't, in my opinion, the reason why carriers never have put limits for the removal of trees off structures is let's see. Tree is at least 40 years old. That's my buddy that just sent me that. That's interesting. Hold on just a second. Yes, you can give them my info, period. It is the type of thing we will probably send Lance out to give an estimate on, period. But have them call me, period. I'm live streaming right now, so if it's an emergency, let me know, period. Actually, that looks hella dangerous. Dadgummit. Hold on, guys. Okay, let's keep on going. Where were we at? The reason that they can't necessarily put a limit and is because the mortgage company, and themselves actually. Number one, that example with the tree on the house, the crane size can just like instantly change the cost of getting that job done. And each setup is completely different. There was a claim. Well, I won't go into specific examples, actually. Sometimes some claims can go really, 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 really expensive because you need really, 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 really big cranes. Like a 200-ton crane. I think it's a 2 or a 500-ton. I think it's a 500-ton. Is $60,000 minimum buy-in for from this one company that I talked to at one time for 8 hours of work. And that's like, I think you only get an hour or two worth of actual work because you're talking 3 hours to set up, 3 hours to break down. I mean, but a 500-ton, if you get 2 hours with it, you're going to lift the whole house and put the house on the other side of that bridge. Okay, anyway, so coverage A typically covers the main dwelling structure. So that's coverage A. Okay, coverage A is like the deck attached to the house. Then extended dwelling coverage on some policies can be like extra other structures. Then coverage B in most policies is stuff like fence, driveway, sidewalk, sprinkler systems. Guys, this is where you need to pay attention. I'll hit it up again real quick. Go join the mailing list, join the network. That's important. Like and subscribe to this video because what you're about to hear here is like the nugs. Here it comes. The nugs are the stuff that's underground on some policies can trigger coverage. Depending, each policy is always different, but let's imagine a blowover. Oh, here, this is the actual, I forgot. Oh, shoot, did I just mess my, no, I didn't mess it up. So, sorry, I'm hitting my camera. By the way, guys, here, check this out. This is kind of fun. This is, what? I should use that as the, that was the free wood chip app that we built. There were 3 of them: Chipiro, Chip Drop, and About Trees. Chip Drop won because I lost interest. But this is the October issue that I put the link in the article, and I just wanted to show you guys this real quick. Where was it? It was where is it? Misconception. It's like page 46. Oh yeah. So check this out, guys. This is one of my customers' house, and that was an itty bitty sprinkler line, right? It was disheveled. There was a gutter drain in there too. So 2 separate things, had been disheveled. Those, in that case, were both coverage B. How's he going to relay that gutter line, that gutter drainage, while there's a huge tree? Like, oh, there's even a better example. I've got to show you guys this. You guys are going to trip on this. Okay, so we had, and I can't share my screen easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share with you my phone. We had this one job in Jasper, Georgia. Okay. And so underground utilities can trigger coverage. And I'm going to tell you guys a story about this particular job. And this is what we'll get into later on, and why you need to like and subscribe, because this is ridiculous information that costs you nothing. So let's imagine a tree that falls into another tree like we saw just a second ago. Okay? It's from my buddy. Tree falls into another tree. That one you saw broke. But this other one, I want to show it to you. Check this out. Let's see. Okay, so fell into, oh, that's a video. Hold on. Let me see. And I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm hoping you're going to be able to see that. Okay, so that is a tree that actually fell into a creek. Okay, and then what it did is it snagged up into another tree. So it fell in from one tree and went into another tree. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I want you to. There's the house, okay? So it never, that's my crane, but there's the tree. It never touched the house. So the clients call me and the clients are like, Mark, can you help us? And I'm like, yeah, well, has it hit the house? No. Did it hit a retention wall? No. Shoot. Did it hit a playset? No. Did it hit an outside building, barn? And I'm like, gosh, did it crack a sidewalk when the root ball came up? No. And I'm like telling the lady, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything. And, I can't invoice your carrier because I don't think this is going to be covered. And so she was like, well, talk to my husband. And I was like, I asked him all the same questions. I was like, I don't think that this is billable. And I was like, well, what about and see, the weird thing was, it was like the house, the tree it fell into, a creek, and then the tree. So like last ditch effort, I was like, well, did it uplift any underground utilities? He's like, what? I was like, yeah, did it? Like, who's going to put an underground utility on the other side of a creek? He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, did it? What? Dog fence, baby? Are you kidding me? Invisible dog fence? He's like, yeah, we had it put in last year and we wanted the dog to be able to go all the way to the back. When the tree fell over, it lifted up the fence. I was like, hold my teeth. Not hold my beer because I don't drink. A redneck friend of mine used to say that, hold my teeth right before he's about to get in a fight. And so I said, oh, we're going to have this big, beautiful crane come out. And we did have that big, beautiful crane come out. And we had that big, beautiful crane take that tree off of another tree and haul that tree away. Okay? With all of our gear, proper ANSI standard, OSHA compliant, and I invoiced the carrier. Well, the carrier, of course, comes back and says, har, 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 har. We're not gonna pay for that because the only thing we owe for is to bury the cable. And I said, well, okay. And I wish I could play it back. Our calls were recorded. It would be awesome for you to hear and it was the most. Sometimes when you deal with adjusters, but part of the reason I'm not going to get into whys. I said no whys, so I'm not going to go there. Sometimes when you deal with adjusters, it can feel so weird. Like if you do it enough and you know what's going on and you know that they're required to indemnify the homeowner, and we're going to talk about all those processes very shortly. It can feel really weird because when you know that the carrier owes reasonable costs incurred, in order for, when you know the carrier owes reasonable costs incurred, okay, that's what typical policies say. We will pay reasonable costs to mitigate against further damage. When you know that they owe it and you know that your costs are reasonable, and then a carrier you call up the carrier because he has some questions. And he's like, well, all we owe for is burying the cable. And you're like, okay, how are you going to bury the cable when the tree is up in the air? Well, we're just going to wait for you. Oh no, you have to fix it. You have to indemnify and put that cable in the ground. Therefore, you have to do it per OSHA guidelines. You cannot put a man into that situation. Sorry, I really need to turn down the volume here because I get this thing in me where when we start talking like that, I get a little, you can't put a man in there to cut that cable where there's this huge destabilized tree in the air. What are you going to do? Put him under there with a trencher and the tree roll and like take him out? That's not OSHA compliant, bruh. We have to follow OSHA, right? And not only that, you can't cut those roots because that would almost, like, knowing how destabilized that tree was, those roots could release that tree easy and slap it onto the house. That would be an intentional act of negligence, slamming a tree on a house. And I said, I asked the guy, I said, are you really telling me on this recorded line to disregard OSHA and that we don't? And he was trying to disconnect. He wanted to disconnect his responsibility. Like, look, dude, if a covered event happens and it dishevels something that you have to fix, then and you can't fix it while keeping these men safe, then you have to keep the men safe to get the job done that you have to do. And I don't care. And I'm telling you, he had like $400 on that one wire. And you can imagine, I'm not going to go into pricing at all, but you can imagine how much that crane costs and those men and that bobcat and that log truck to come and safely bring that covered, 100% covered. That's what I'm talking about. And that took a long time. It took him like 6 weeks. And that homeowner was so thankful. That homeowner was thankful because there was coverage and there was someone who knew how to take care of them. And I want you to be able to take care of your people in your local area because, like, I will tell you some of the reason. I'll go into a little bit of the why. After 25 years in this business and going to storm after storm and seeing homeowners get told that there's only, there's a maximum of $500 to remove the tree debris from the property, right? And just when you stop and think about, I've just dealt with I talked to a guy yesterday who said he was on a storm one time and the homeowner was so scared of their carrier and he was up on a roof trying to hand saw a branch. The tree guy saw this happen. The branch had tension. It snapped, knocked him off. and the dude took an ambulance ride. Why? When there's a tree service right there trying to help him, but the homeowner's so scared. And so when you stop and think about, there are thousands and thousands of claims every year. Thousands of them, tree claims. How many are non-claimed because they heard on the phone there's only a $500 debris hauling or a $500 limit or $1,000 limit or $750 limit to remove the debris off the property, to move the tree off the property. And they don't tell them what they're really saying is to haul the tree away from the acreage, not lifted off the house, away from the acreage after it's lifted off the house, separate line item. And so I'm tired of my industry not having this information, not knowing about HO1, HO2, HO3s, not knowing how to serve the clients. Okay. And I'm just telling you, you need to like and subscribe. You need to go to 770arborist.com/mailing list and join, because what's coming is, I'm telling you, it's all I can tell you is it's going to be good. Like very soon. So, okay, let's keep on going. That's a little bit of the why. Okay, coverage A, coverage B. So, and then there's also coverage C for contents. I think State Farm has coverage B as contents. Most carriers have coverage C for contents, and that's the people's stuff. Okay. So in this article, for example, if a tree falls on both a retention wall and a swimming pool, and coverage A is $150,000, coverage B limit is set at 10% of the maximum. So you got to remember that there are limits on coverage B. So if the house, is $150,000, then but it fell on, let's say, a fence or something, then the limit would be the limit to remove that tree off that fence or off the pool or whatever and fix the pool would be 10% of coverage A. So you got to keep that in mind. That's important, that there are different limits. Typically no limit to remove the tree off the house. And then sometimes there are limits on coverage B. And as a side note, and you'll appreciate this, so like and subscribe, commercial policies, oftentimes their debris hauling limit is a percentage of the value of the policy rather than even including trees. And then another thing that's interesting is on rental properties. Those are let's see, I'm on Lemonade again. Let's see, homeowner, HO6s. Oh, we need to talk about HO6s. HO5s. Let's see, HO5 is a broader protection. No, what is it? Hold on, HO3. I don't know what hold on, Control F. RENT. Oh, let's see. I don't know what, oh, it's not renters. I'm sorry. It's DPs. Sorry. DP, dwelling policy. DP1, DP2, DP3 instead of HO, homeowner. Sorry, got my abbreviations mixed up for a minute. Anyway, DP policies often don't have, or I'm not going to say often, sometimes they have different exclusions than homeowner policies. So if you're working for the owner of a house who is renting it to someone else, then, and keep in mind, obviously, if the renter calls you, they can't authorize you to bill the insurance carrier because they don't own the policy. The owner of that house that they're renting from has to be the one to hire you. But anyway, those policies on those rented houses are called DP policies, dwelling, and there are different restrictions. Oftentimes there's like maybe different like debris hauling limits and whatnot. Boring. It's kind of boring, but hey, how long are we in this bad boy? How long are we in this bad boy so far? It is boring, dude. It's boring. We will get into more fun stuff later on. So like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Okay, we're going to talk about debris hauling. This one, guys, is really, really interesting. And I had one, and you're going to appreciate this, guys. I'm going to show you this tree. This one's awesome. Okay, talking about debris hauling, a lot of times the limits, okay, are $500 or $1,000. That's pretty industry standard. However, let me just move here. And the carriers always say to the homeowners, make sure that the tree service you use breaks out the hauling fee from the removal of the tree off the house fee. Okay, that's fine. We can do that. But what we want to talk about, this was from the other day, okay? And we want to talk about, hold on. Let's see, can I get that better for you guys? It's not rotating. Okay, this is big. I don't have it on there. Okay, so Leland Cypress sitting on a house. Okay, everybody has names for their crane. My crane is named Big Shiny. I love Big Shiny, baby. Okay, so let's talk about the limits here on this debris hauling and why. The mechanics of what happens if you go over the debris hauling limit. So let's just imagine, I'm going to share this with you again. Let me see. The stinking auto rotation doesn't, oh, well, maybe I should turn auto rotation on. Okay, I want you to see this. Okay, so that is the job that we did like 2 days ago, okay? And let's just imagine there is some gutter damage for, let's just call it 500 to put a new gutter, 500 for some new roof. And this particular client, it was awesome, you guys. Let me see if I have a picture of it. This client, he was a really cool client. After we got done, I didn't take any, oh, maybe I did. Dude, this guy had that's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's rows. There's like, I don't know if you can see the double sticks, but he had rows of like 12 bird feeders in the back, 12 posts with like 4 bird feeders. It's like 40 or 50 bird feeders. He had trash cans. We raise peacocks. My wife didn't find out. We raise peacocks. We keep our bird food in the bins. He had trash cans full of bird food. He had lost, he even told me, actually. So let's put that one in the mix. His $600 worth of bird food that he lost. That's coverage C, by the way. Okay? Because that's contents. Okay, and I think bird food would be included. I don't know if human food would be. Probably so. Okay, so let's just pull that thing down for the sake of argument. Let's forget no roof damage, but there was gutter damage. So let's just add bird food at 500. Oh, no, we did. He did do bird food. 500 for the bird food, 500 for the roof, and 500 for the gutter. It's $1,500. That needs to be paid to bring him to indemnify him. Guys, track with me. I know this sounds boring, but this is important. Okay? So to bring him up to indemnify him would be $1,500 beyond the tree bill. Now, I'm not going to go into what my tree bill was, but let's just suppose, and I'm going to use hypothetical numbers. If any of you guys know me, oh, by the way, has anybody commented anything? Come on, guys. Not right now, guys. Oh my gosh, dude. It's so annoying, dude. Super spammy comments all over the place. Delete. Remove. Okay. Okay. So I got to get that on my screen so I can see it. Okay. So let's get back to this idea of the debris hauling. Okay. So let's imagine. What I was saying is, if any of you guys know me, I do not talk price about anything with anyone ever. It's a really big deal. I've spent thousands of dollars with lawyers at this point over that subject. And I remember when I was getting my tree risk assessment qualification course, and I wanted to talk to the instructor and say, hey, how much do most assessors, tree risk assessment guys, charge? And they were like, you cannot talk price. And I was like, bro, don't be such a fuddy-duddy white collar dude. Why are you doing that, bro? It's just talking about price. Well, it turns out they had a really good reason. Um, the Department of Justice does not like price fixing, price manipulation. They like markets to move freely in up with buyers and sellers. And you don't want to get into talking about any pricing because you can't have any sort of coordination of pricing. So any of the numbers that I use in these videos are 100% fictitious numbers. Okay? So I'm going to use absurd numbers so that you know they're not real numbers. Never want price manipulation. And guys, the reason for that, I believe that things are going to change in the industry very soon. Mostly because the internet allows us to understand, like this right here, guys, this is a free class for you. You're understanding stuff about, like, this wasn't available years ago to me. And I'm giving this away to you free. Sign up because there's going to be more. We're going to go in more depth. But getting back to this example with the fictitious or the fake pricing. Okay, let's pretend that I charged $20 bajillion to haul his debris, and let's pretend his deductible was $1,000. Is that right? Yeah. And let's also pretend that the homeowner, let's also pretend that the homeowner had a $500 debris hauling limit. Okay, so track with me. $1,000 deductible. I'm sorry. Yeah, and a $500 debris hauling limit. Now, there's something that is overages of limit. And when overages of limit kick in, if the policy allows for overages on limited coverage, it can dip into the deductible. I'm not 100% clear on which policies allow for that and which don't, and whether it's mandatory that the adjuster applies overages toward the deductible. That's still one thing I'm kind of like, what the nomenclature for this is, like the actual name of that. And if it's written into the policy, because if it's written into the policy, then they have to do it. You have to be aware of it, and they have to be aware of it. They have to have read it. But basically, let's just pretend his deductible is $1,000, his debris hauling limit's $500, and I charged a bajillion trillion dollars. So no matter what, he's over. Okay? So, and keep in mind, he has 3 things left after the tree: $500 of bird food, $500 to fix the roof, and $500 to fix the gutter. That's $1,500. Now, if I had charged $1 to haul the debris, then he would have to pay his $1,000 deductible, and he would not even dip into the other $499 worth of coverage for debris hauling. But if I charged a bajillion trillion, not only did he go over the $500, but the adjuster, and this happened on this particular claim, credited him for that debris hauling with his deductible. That means that rather than him having to, like, because remember that what the difference is he's still entitled to receiving $500 for the bird food, $500 for the gutter, and $500 for the roof, $1,500 total. So if I charged over that and they credited, which they did, then the next check he gets for the claim is a $1,500 check. If I had charged $1 for the debris hauling, watch this, then he would have gotten he would have, out of the $1,500 owed to indemnify on the bird food, the gutter, and the roof, out of the $1,500 that they owed for, they would first take out his deductible, and then they would have paid me $1 for the hauling, and then they would give him $499. So he would be out. So that's how, and honestly, guys, that's really interesting how that works. If you just write on there $1,000 or $500 debris hauling, if it's actually more and you put it for more, that overage limit can be on certain policies applied toward the deductible, which helps your client. Okay. Any comments? Like and subscribe. What are these comments? Yeah, boy, FYI. Remove. Dude, we're going to remove these comments. It's annoying. Okay. Where are we at? Okay, so policy owners, golly, guys, we've gone. So, like, I could talk for days on this subject. Policy owners, duties after a loss. So we were going to talk real quick about the insurance carrier's duties after a loss. Just keep in mind that when there's a tree loss or any type of loss, the carrier has to file a claim. They have to pay promptly, and they have to. I'm not 100% sure on all of their duties. You have to read through a policy and see, but basically they have to get like the claim filed and started. I don't think they have to like take inventory of the, I don't even know if they have to provide an adjuster. Because the homeowners can hire public adjusters, which is what I am, but the carriers definitely do provide adjusters. I think they have to come out and document. That's why they have CAT claim guys. So let's just talk about the different types of, because I remember on one of these storms I was at a while back, there was a CAT claim guy that I was at this house, and the CAT adjuster came out, and I was like trying to talk turkey with him. And he was just like, this is before I was an adjuster. And I was trying to like fish him out and see, if he could authorize or whatever, before I realized you don't really need authorization, which kind of, the misconceptions cover a lot of that. For mitigation work, long story short, for mitigation work to protect the house and people around it, the homeowner has actually made a promise to the carrier that they'll take good faith efforts to mitigate against further loss to people or the house. So it's not like if you pay your premium, you're already quote unquote authorized, because my goodness, dude, like at the end of the day, like that's what I'm going to make that a little bigger. At the end of the day, that's what the insurance is there for, is to mitigate. And so, and you're actually, the homeowner is fulfilling their duty that they've promised. And, like a lot of times the homeowners are like, well, I got to ask permission. No, you don't. Listen, let's put it this way. If you get in a car accident and you're bleeding out of your face and they rush you in to the hospital, bro, they're going to start taking care of your face. They're going to stop the bleeding. They're not calling your insurance carrier asking permission. Now, if you want some elective surgery to be done, whatever the elective surgery is, and you think that your carrier might cover it, that's something that might be negotiated. But when there is a mitigating situation that needs attention, that it's in the policy, the homeowners have warranted and said, we will handle. And like, I'm telling you guys, I was on the phone with an insured 2 days ago, and they just could not get it through their mind that they had the ability to move forward. I never call carriers and ask permission, because it's a false conversation across the board. If the homeowner doesn't know enough about the policy and about their rights, I'm not going to go in and have a fake conversation. I know what homeowners are entitled to do. Like, here's the point. No homeowner should ever have to live underneath in a hazardous condition, be near, have their kids near, ever a dangerous situation, trying to call a carrier going, can I please keep my kids safe? Like, dude, that is not okay. And we as tree guys need to be able to understand and comprehend and tell each other, hey, look, guys, this is how the policies work, right? Like, this is how they work. And until we share videos like this with one another for free, and until we understand as an industry on these emergency situations, we're going to have homeowners that are out there cutting trees and like hurting themselves. Like, that was another thing. Like, how many homeowners across the country over the course of history, how many, and this is going to sound a little dramatic, but I don't care if the number is one. And I'm sure it is. Like, even from my friends saying, yeah, I saw a dude take a hospital ride. And I personally have seen just the most dangerous stuff happening in disaster areas for insured work that could be done by professionals. How many kids have grown up without a dad, or a dad that couldn't walk anymore? And I guarantee you that's happened. And I guarantee you that's happened because homeowners were scared to simply do what or activate the rights that they had under the policy. They're protected, like they would be protected. And they were scared because carriers say there's a $500 limit to remove the tree off the property. Dude, I'm sorry. Like, I've had enough of that in my life that I'm like if I could teach every single tree service in the country to be able to share that little bit of information about a homeowner's rights to pull a tree off a fence, to pull a tree off of a ground dog wire, whatever it is, if there's coverage, homeowners, please, by all means, stay away. Let a professional handle it so that one kid doesn't have his life ruined because his dad got up on a ladder, made a cut, and the ladder got swept out and killed the dude. I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to share this information because it needs to be shared. Okay. Sorry. You're going to get a little bit of emotional rustle here, right? Okay. So where are we at, dude? And how long is this live streaming going, for crying out loud? Woo! Hour long, baby. Okay. So, I'm going to say it again. Join our mailing lists. If you ever need a crane, wherever you are, if you get hit, call me. I will come out with my crane wherever you are in the country and my team of Tree SEAL Team 6 dudes and help you out. Okay. Where are we at? Debris hauling. We handled the debris hauling. So let's go to policy owners' duties after a loss. In the declaration section of most homeowners' policies, the homeowner has warranted promises to the carrier that in the event of a covered loss, the homeowner will take reasonable measures to keep both people and the property, to protect both property safe and protect from further damage. We just talked about that. Now, we've already talked about the misconceptions of the $500. Need to check and see. Where are we at? Darn it. This is frustrating. Where are we at? Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with all of these stinking windows. Oh, there it is. Finally we have it. La RHD. Che Life. I appreciate that. Oh, guys. Lala RHD, is it worth shaping? If you're still watching, 622, I'm sorry, guys. Is it worth shaping the canopy of a 6-year-old catalpa tree? I live in the Northeast. Tree is 50 foot from the house, or just take it down. Do not trim the outside of a tree. That's not how you mitigate against trees falling over. Definitely a lot of guys, especially in the Northeast. You should know that. There should be some arborists up there. Adjuster's been fair for what you need to do is, if you're going to do anything, remove the tree if you're worried about it, especially have a tree risk assessment qualified arborist come out and look at it. You can also go in and do an interior thinning to lower its wind sail effect. Adjusters have been fair to me in the past. No on-site check. Limitations for hurricane coverage. We had some cedars fall on a roof. Pictures were enough for them. Yeah, this particular one, I think, that I just showed a second ago is having... Oh, what's up, homie? Yeah, met you in yeah, well, bro, it's good to hear from you again. Man, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Okay, let's see. But I have a question about let me hit this other question real quick. Adjusters have been fair with me in the past. No pictures. Pictures were enough for them. Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. Sometimes the carriers will not send out an adjuster if it's a linear claim, meaning it's a fence. That calculation is linear. So they know what kind of fence it is. They just stretch a tape measure. Like they can even do it from like Google, like Earth, stretch the tape measure, measure the distance, then put it in for the type of fence, and they know how much the fence is worth, minus depreciation or whatever, and they can make an offer. And if they can if they can start the claim online, ingest pictures, and close the claim without sending an adjuster out there, that saves them like $350. Adjusters cost them at least that to come out and just like write the paperwork up. Okay. Che Life. I'm following you, but I have a question about a homeowner has a tree fall in a house and insurance says they're not paying for it because the homeowner does not live there. You got to clarify. Oh, wait. You got to clarify. I don't know what you mean when you says, tree insurance came out fast. Tree company came out fast. Fortunately, my roof is minimal damage. I'm waiting for your, if you're still there, Che, because the homeowner doesn't live there. I don't know what that means exactly. Are you saying that it was the homeowner's house and it fell to the next door neighbor? Because there's lots of stuff about that. So if the homeowner has a tree fall on the house and insurance company says that they're not paying for it because the homeowner doesn't live there. I can't imagine a situation where that's the case. If the dude owns the house and a tree falls on his house, there should always be coverage for that. What do you think of the Vermeer 1800 XL? I have a bigger chipper than that. No, homeowner lives in Florida and Georgia. So I'm assuming, is that a rental property, Che? I have a bigger chipper. The 1800, I think probably was good. It was decently lightweight. I might get one in 2 weeks, 2-week new one. I would prefer something bigger like the Axe 19. That's what I have. And a more bark. Che, actually, I kind of regret, I think you had the 280, right? The Bandit 280. I kind of regret not buying that because my Axe 19 has had some problems. I'm still waiting to find out if the homeowner, was it a rental property? That's what I'm waiting to find out. Tell me if the homeowner owned it but rented it to someone. And I'll wait for your answer. And while I'm waiting for that, we are going to keep on going. The homeowner needs to get permission, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, we are going to go on a social media blitz to get every tree guy to understand that that's not the case. Man, dude, I should have, okay. Sorry, I'm getting, no rental. No rental. She was back and forth. You know, I can tell you, Che, that there might have been something like, the question is, was it Um, so yeah, no, that's fine. You can give me a call, but I'd like to talk about it because um, there is a so if she had an HO policy but it wasn't occupied, they could back away from a claim. Guys, this is a great example. Like, I'm glad you bring that up. Okay, so check this out. Let's imagine tree falls on a house, busts a hole in the house, right at like a good, nice, good valley. Okay, busts the hole in the house, and the homeowner is like, you know what? I got tickets to Cancun. I'm outie because it's a rental, driving it like it's a rental. They're like, dude, there's insurance, so who cares? I'm going to Cancun. Well, then the thing about that is, and this is the thing I really want you guys to hear, okay? Because this is the most important part about duties of the homeowner after the claim. If they took off to Cancun and water poured in the house and caused a bunch more damage, the insurance carrier could go, we're not going to cover it. Now, Che, check this out. If she has a HO policy, but she's not living there for a certain amount of time, and she tells her carrier that, bam, no coverage. Because, like, you can imagine, like, let's say you live in the Northeast and there's a power outage. Okay, track with me. You're way up north. There's a power outage. The power goes out, the heat goes out, and your pipes start freezing. But you live down in Florida, but you told them that you lived there the whole time. Well, now all of a sudden, you're in Florida, the power went out, your pipes just froze, and you're filling your basement with water. And when you come back home in 3 months, you've had water sitting in your basement. Now, here's the question. That, by the way, is a definition of a hazard. The peril is flood. Actually, flood is not the same as pipes breaking, as a side note. See, there's also, I love the little details. I love the little details. And that's what we're going to talk about is the details so that you guys understand coverages. It's really good because the carriers love the details. And they love, in my opinion, they like to abuse the details. They like to have a tree come across a fence and then say something like, oh, well, we're only going to cover that part of the tree that's touching the fence. Oh, you mean the whole tree that's on the fence? Or did you mean, oh, no, we only a 4-foot section on either side. Oh, so what you want is me to cut on either side, free labor, so that I can remove just this little piece? No, dude, it's the whole stinking thing that fell. We're going to remove the tree. You can tell I've had a ton, big hole in the roof. I went out 9:30 p.m., raining, took pine off roof and tarp. Adjuster calls me and says, oh, dude, you can't do that, bro, by the way. Yeah, don't tell me what you charge. Do not want to do that. Like, seriously, no pricing. No pricing in comments. That's what they said. You can call me if you want. We can talk. You can give me a call if you want. We can talk about it. Just to let you know, that's actually not a denial. That's so. I'm super glad you brought this up because that is a difference. I should have talked about this. Scope versus coverage. Scope versus value. Okay, scope. Residing in the house. While the damage escalates. I'm telling you. Well, guys, that's another thing. We're going to talk about scope versus value. Say price I charge. Good. Thank you, Che. Look, check this out. That's the thing about the homeowner's duties. This is the craziest thing. You could literally, this is what blows my mind. Okay. This blows my mind. You could have a poor old lady scared, talk to a frontline person who says $500 maximum. She gets scared and she's in a blacked out area during a hurricane, trying to call people, living under, thousands and thousands of pounds worth of an oak tree sitting on her house. And then someone, either comes through a yard, the tree rolls, kills someone. Maybe she even had someone come by, knock on the door, say, we can take this tree off. She was scared. She didn't do it. Insurance company finds out. Lawsuit comes. Person got killed. You had a hazardous condition. You had an opportunity to operate in good faith, to do your duty. Okay. And you didn't because you were asking for permission. And this, guys, by the way, you have to hear this part. Not only does the homeowner sign on the form, we will mitigate, so black and white, but the second part, have you ever thought about on the recorded line when they call in, this call may be recorded, they read it from a script. If there's any potential future damage or there's a potential for an unsafe condition, go ahead and get the work done, take pictures, and keep receipts. They always tell the homeowner that on a recorded line. Again, I'm not going to talk about the why. I'll just use a hypothetical. If you had a carrier that was very interested in staying profitable, and they could both say it in black and white on the policy and on a recorded line say it, and in the rare chance that the tree rolls and kills someone and they catch a multi-million-dollar lawsuit coming at them, they could say, oh, well, we're into profits. And we not only told her in black and white, but we also told her on a recorded line that she had the duty to do that. It was her duty, that she was negligent. She did not perform her duty of care. We're going to wash our hands of this. We're going to back away. And that actually could happen. Okay? The mechanics of that could actually happen. And that is disgusting. Anyway, going back to scope versus value. So the neat thing about the policy, scope versus value, is scope is yes, no. Scope, you read down through and did it damage something? Yes or no? Da-da-da-da-da. Is it a covered? Da-da-da-da. That's always yes, no. Che, what you're talking about is value. Okay, so value, if they offered $5,000, that's a value question. And we're going to solve some of those problems. I promise. So, all of that said, I'm not going to get into everything, but make sure you join the mailing list because there's some big things coming. Let's see. Stump grinding. The homeowner needs to get estimates before removing. Hold on. Sorry, my computer started talking to me. Another question. I've heard if you officially warn them, oh boy, la la. That is a great boy. I'll go into it real quick in just a second. Homeowner needs to get estimates before removing the tree from the house. We've already talked about that. I've never seen a policy that says they need to get estimates for mitigation. By the way, mitigation versus repair. Two separate types of work. Mitigating is preventing further damage. Repair is repairing the structure. Repair, often they do get estimates. Mitigating, you need to act, what's the word you would use? Judiciously to fulfill your duty of care. Okay? Thankfully, I have a lot of paid in full claims. All of my pricing is pre-printed. So it's, and I have a lot of, paid in full claims. So I know what's reasonable. And most of the times what they say is we will pay reasonable costs incurred to remove a tree off your house. Lala, I'll go into this real quick. Okay. So the official warn. I love the question, Lala, and I am definitely going to make another video about this content right here. But the question is, if you have, let me just look at it. I know what the question is. I didn't read it, but I'll read it all. I've heard if you officially warn a neighbor and your own insurance company that there is a dangerous situation, meaning it's their tree that is going to fall on your property. Okay. That doesn't look like the question is finished, but I know what you're talking about. And it's called maintenance. A maintenance situation versus an act of God. And when it changes from act of God to maintenance, or more specifically, act of God to deferred maintenance. And here's how it works. Let's say you have a neighbor, and actually this will get into first and third person liability. Guys, this is a ridiculous stream, dude. You guys are getting this stuff for free. What's up? This is such a good stream. We're going to have to, hey guys, share this video with everybody. I'm going to share it as much as I can, but all of you guys, dude, post it on all of the forums. Share it with your tree service buddies. But let's talk about deferred maintenance versus, first and third person liability. Okay. In insurance, you have first person liability. First party. Sorry, I always get that one wrong. First party liability versus third party. So when you buy a homeowner's policy, that is a first party contract, meaning, and it's beautiful. Here's the carrier. Here's you. Here is a set of covered perils. You transfer money to the carrier and it activates protection from all of those covered perils. If one of those covered perils happens and there's a loss, then money transfers back over to you to bring you back to a pre-loss condition. Period. It's so nice. First party liability, everything's all spelled out and it's exact, right? Except with Che, when they're like, we're going to give you $5,000. That's a value question, Che. What you have to do is establish that your cost was a reasonable cost. Okay. So then let's go back to third-party liability, Lala. So at third-party liability, here you are, but then there's another house over here, and that tree fell. Now, it fell under two circumstances. Let's assume that the wind pushed it over, okay, no matter what. Now, here's what a lot of people try to go to the insurance of the homeowner over there and say, hey, you guys need to pay to remove my tree. You can't do that because, Andrew, Andrew, what's up, baby? Welcome. So glad you're here. It's finally happening. Okay, man, let's see if you got detached garage. I'm looking for some awesome words. No, you didn't use anything knocking me off my feet. Andrew's got some serious vocabulary. Okay, so back to the misconception that many of the homeowners think that they can go to the owner of the tree and say, hey, you guys need to cover it. But they're going to say, no, that was an act of God. So the homeowner's insurance needs to cover it. Okay, now, Lala, I explained all of first party liability because they were trying to wrap a third party into it. You got a homeowner and an insurance company, okay? But there's a third party that they're trying to put liability onto. How do you put the liability on? It is first off, the event came from a windstorm, but was it an act of God or was it declared maintenance that then was deferred? Okay. So if there's a known maintenance situation that's made known, made public, and they didn't establish or operate in their duty of care to maintain a dangerous situation and make it undangerous, then you can do what's called, here's another fancy word for you, subrogate. So in that case, the best way to handle it is for the homeowner over here to file with their own insurance carrier. But then afterward, they're going to say, hey, look, we had a certified arborist, tree risk assessment qualified, come out and declare that that tree was a known maintenance issue. And we sent them the letter. Here's the stamp. Here's the email. They knew it was. They didn't act. They saw that it was a maintenance issue and they deferred maintenance. Now, all of a sudden, the insurance carrier of that homeowner over there, this third party, they're going to take some liability because all of a sudden that homeowner wasn't doing their due diligence to maintain a safe property. And then after this insurance carrier pays to fix the house, pays to remove the tree, then they are going to subrogate, which is claw back the money that they've spent. They're going to file a claim against the other, the insurance of the other house. Now, that being said, if, number one, you probably need to have a certified arborist make the declaration. They definitely need to see it. Certified letter is nice. At the end of the day, it's kind of funny because sometimes people will pay like $750 or something for an arborist report when their deductible is $500. So, like, it's kind of weird because the only money that you really save, that the homeowner saves, is their deductible. And that's if their insurance company decides to subrogate and fight that fight. Because there's a chance, Lala, that the carrier is going to be like, dude, this was like, whatever, X $1,000. It just wasn't a lot of money. We are not gonna spend the money to go chasing this next door neighbor. It's too much legal cost. We're gonna write it off and move forward and do other things. So I hope that explains. Subrogation is going over first party liability, third party liability, deferred maintenance, and how that risk transfers by having an official report. And all of a sudden, it turns it from an act of God to a maintenance situation. If they don't do it, it becomes deferred maintenance. If it fails, then it becomes liability that goes over to the person who deferred the maintenance. I love that question, by the way. It's a great question. A lot of people ask that question. Here we go, Mr. Andrew Bachman. If trees are on fences or detached garage, and you're welcome, Lala, and the policy does include coverage B, and let's say 20% of the value of the property, the dwelling, how do you justify mitigation as an immediate need? Oh, that's an easy one. That's super easy. Let me just ask you, go take a tree, that same tree, and put it next to a playset in a public park. Have that tree that's 10,000 pounds with branches sticking up in the air that now have fractures inside, may not, and put it next to a playset. And you tell me if you're going to let your toddler go get up all in that thing and get near that thing. No way, dude. It's destabilized. It's thousands of pounds. It's super, super double duper dangerous. Not to mention, keep in mind, let's say you dig a big fat hole in your front yard and put nails all up underneath it. Okay? And someone comes in and like inside the hole, someone comes in and falls in the hole and impales their foot or something. You have a dangerous situation in your property. And if a trespasser gets hurt when they trespassed because you did not simply do what you're supposed to do, which is your duty of care to keep the thing safe, it's a covered event. It's so annoying. I should have changed the setting. Move. It's a covered event. You didn't do your duty of care to potentially mitigate. You just have to think about, would you let your toddler get on that tree? No way. I don't know exactly why. It's up to 20% of the value of the primary dwelling. How do you justify mitigation as an immediate need? I can always justify just from the danger. I mean, if it is a danger, if it's not a danger, it's not a danger. That's going to be up to the individual looking at the tree and how dangerous they think it is. One time, well, I won't go into that story. Okay, let's keep on going. Oftentimes, the mitigation needs don't seem as urgent on outbuildings or detached structures, so the homeowner follows a process to get estimates. Bro, yeah, until someone gets their head conked. Like, dude, if there's coverage, there's coverage, and we've already gone down that road. Yeah, oftentimes to the homeowner, it doesn't seem like, I have them call me all the time. Like, bro, are you kidding me? Which one was this? Hold on just a second. Which one was it? You are right about that. And it's crazy. I'm just looking in the jobs. We did a bunch of jobs over the past couple days, and I'm trying to figure out which one it was. Which one was it? It wasn't that one. I'm looking through the jobs. I can't find it. I'm trying to spark my memory on the job that we did just the other day. Oh my gosh, dude. I'm sorry, but look at that stinking... That is bad to the bone, dude. I had the bobcat and the crane. Double action. Oh, dude, it was so bad at the bone. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, I'm so glad, by the way, Lala, that you asked that, because that handled first and third party liability. The challenge is to convince the homeowner to go with my estimate. I'm going to get 3 estimates, or my insurance company said get 3 estimates. Bro, I'm just going to tell you that your former insurance bro. What's up, brother? You should be here. Let's come right down here. We'll throw some hands. That would be fun. It's good to see you, dude. Okay, so let's talk about this idea, Andrew, about the three. I'm telling you, literally. Um, See, again, I got to be so careful because I get nervous sometimes about how much I can say with the names of these carriers. But literally, I had this client. It was either yesterday or day before, and dude, she just had this serious, like a huge. I don't even know if I took a picture, but it was a huge tree, and she was just dead set. She was going to get estimates, and I was just super saddened by that because sometimes, guys, my people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. Oh, actually, Andrew, I have a great story to tell you. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna look this bad boy up. Um, let's see. Knowledge is Power. I'm gonna see if I can find this actual quote. Knowledge is power. This is when I was. Yeah, dude. It's so funny. I one time had I don't know if he was using it. I called this one guy out while a tree was sitting in a backyard. He was saying, get estimates. And it doesn't say. I've never seen a policy, Andrew, ever. Never have I seen a policy that has the word estimates. Not on mitigation work. And I called this adjuster on it. I was like, dude, are you guys gonna take care of the medical bills if someone gets hurt? Do you happen to know what the insured? He was like, no one's gonna go back in that backyard. I'm like, that's irrelevant. What if someone trespasses? Do you know where the homeowner's gonna be tomorrow? He's like, no. Well, I do. They're going to go to work. No one's going to be guarding that tree to keep people away. It's not cordoned off. It's an unsafe situation. And it was, dude. This thing was like 12,000 pound tree. And, and, and what was really frustrating is I just happen to have the knowledge and experience that they seek without prejudice, no matter the cost. Knowledge, and this is an adjuster telling me this. Knowledge is power, and my insureds feel better to have it. Well, what you weren't telling them, Jeff, is that you're probably not going to be covering them if he takes 10 years to get the cheapest estimate for you, and someone gets $1 million claim coming at you. I don't know. Maybe they could be argued that they do retain. Mike would know. Bring liability on the second that they open their mouth and say, the second they open their mouth but see, they're actually getting in the way of the duty of that homeowner to mitigate. Especially, I was so irritated because I'm like, dude, you have a tree risk assessment qualified arborist in court. You're going to lose. Like, you don't know how heavy that tree is. You haven't been out there. That's a dangerous situation. Okay, guys, let's keep on going. We are going to keep on going on this. I'm going to get back to this misconceptions. And probably, I wonder if I can edit. In the middle of a live stream, can I edit? Yeah, I can. I'm going to put this link, Control C, in the description. What does indemnification mean? Guys, you have gotten such a good, big, let's see, hold on, guys. I'm going to put some of these links in the copy link. You guys have gotten a mega dose of, oh, that's a redirect. Sorry, hold on just a second, of information. Okay, I will not add these all to the description right now. Let's just see if there's anything left, guys. Let's see. Indemnification, a loss, apparel, coverages. Does anybody have any questions, by the way? Let's see. We talked about, stump grinding. Oh, insurance. Yeah, we did kind of touch on this. Tree did not fall in the house or cause much damage, so it's not covered. Much damage, that's ridiculous. So any amount of loss is what triggers coverage. Loss is loss. When you go from pre-loss condition to anything under, that's what triggers coverage. Now, the big thing is a lot of times I feel like carriers will try to dissuade homeowners from filing because they'll say, well, your deductible is $1,000. Well, to safely do that tree, you need a lot of big machines or a crane or whatever. And so what will happen is, rather, even though it is a loss and it could be a claim, they dissuade them by throwing their deductible at them. Well, you could remove that whole stinking tree with the right gear and protect your lawn. Okay, not jack your lawn up, not wind up with a ton of debris on the other side of your fence, da 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 da. You can get the job done right and fix your fence. And if the debris hauling was over, possibly have over limits go towards your deductible. Okay, they don't talk about this. This is why I'm giving this information free so that you can educate your clients. Why? I guess why. Part of it's why. So anyway, any amount of loss triggers coverage to bring them back to indemnification. Doesn't matter the dollar amount. And it doesn't matter how small it is either. Like, I love the Lamborghini and the kid with the Levi's on example. And that is, you take your kid to the Lamborghini dealership and the kid leans up against the Lambo and puts a microscopic little scratch in that clear coat. Dude, that dealer is going to go through the roof because it's not original pre-loss. There's a loss, there's damage, even if it's small on that type of car. And we don't always think about that when it comes to like a little tear on a shingle. Here, check this out. This is from 2 days ago. One of my clients, I want to show you guys this. I personally flew up on the, where is it? Actually, this is my guy taking the picture. But look at this, guys. This is a great example. I hope you can see this. Okay? This is, I really want you to see this. This is a gutter. And can you see the edge of the gutter? There is just a little scratch. There it is. It's in focus. Look at that little bit of scrape of paint. Loss. That's a loss. It's not original. It's not the way it was prior to the covered event happening. It doesn't matter. You cannot paint that gutter without the tree coming off. And I'm telling you, it was just, I mean, dude, look at that. It was just a little bit, but it's still loss. You have to paint it. Therefore, the insurance company, according to the policy, has to cover it. Doesn't matter the amount. Okay? So, let's keep on going. Man. Oh, long form video. Let's see. So, insurance cover only covers that part of the tree that's fallen on the structure. So again, we touched on this earlier, but guys, this is a really big issue. This is one of the whys. Okay. This is one of the whys. I am very tired of getting adjusters telling me that they're not going to cover the branches that are above that are dangerous, that's not covered, and put any amount of pressure on me or my team or other tree services to like go, well, we can't do those up there. So then maybe they end up whatever. They end up like getting themselves in a dangerous situation. No, dude. OSHA states that you have to maintain a safe job site for your employees, period. You have to. So if there is a branch that is not touching, but it's a hanger, or there is gosh, guys, let me just show you. Look, check this out. This was from yesterday. This was yesterday. Hold on. This was yesterday. Okay. Hold on. Here's the tree that fell through the fence. Okay. That's one little, oh, Stop texting me while I'm on live stream. Live stream, brah. Okay. Okay. See that? Okay. There it is. Now, they could say that's all that's covered. Well, I would say that's an object. And that object happened to fall into another object. Okay? Look at those two trees. And it's also all over this other fence in the back. So you've got these two massive trees. I'm super irritated over the fact that this is not coming into focus. I'm kind of a freak about having good photography. Okay? Two massive trees. Okay? You can't safely just like walk up and just like make a cut and hope all that crap doesn't fall down on people and destabilize. There's no way I'm touching that thing without going to the top and taking it down the safest way possible. I'm not going to go in and just make some random cut right at that fence and leave that thing. So here's the question. Look, that other tree isn't even touching anything. It's just two trees tangled up together. In my opinion, as a certified arborist, everything's coming down so that we can safely fix that fence. It's the way the job has to happen. That's the way OSHA mandates that we work. The safest way possible. We have to follow the law, and thus, if it gets more expensive, I'm sorry. We have to follow the law and stay safe. It is what it is. We're not going to come in and randomly cut a trunk out of there and put my men in a potentially dangerous situation. Tree could shift and hurt or cause further damage. Not doing it. We're going to do it the safest way possible. Man, dude, you're almost getting the 8-hour full day course for free so far. Okay. So now and the best part, you can go back and rewind for free. Okay. Looking at this thing, the stump. So that part of the tree that had fallen on the structure, no, we're going to do the job safe. We got to get the material down, whatever the material is. If I've got one branch on a house during an ice storm, but there are 5 other branches above, I can't send anybody in to pull that little branch, however small it is, until we do all 5. That has to happen to follow the law. There's a Bible verse that says the law is good when used lawfully. It's true. It's there. It's used lawfully. You need to use it. Okay. So that's the OSHA illustration. We also went through the idea of a tree falling through a fence. They would love it. They would love to say, oh, that part of the tree. They always say that. It's super annoying because the whole stinking object is sitting. Like in that case, the whole tree, just look at it. Oh, by the way. Oh, I wonder if stump grinding, was that an uproot? No, that was a snap. So they can rebuild that. But in that case, the whole tree was sitting on the fence. And that whole tree had other trees. That was that job. Okay, that was the ice storm for going down this article. Example tree, front yard, 100-foot line, pine uproots falling away from the street, bridging the root from the root. Last 25, ranch style. Oh yeah, the chop and drop argument. This chop and drop argument is a little weird. Because anyway, I'm not going to get into it. We'll leave that subject alone. Okay. I've never seen the term chop and drop. It's not, they love using those terms. Oh, well, we only owe to chop and drop. First off, we don't chop anything. We cut it. Secondly, you can't drop anything. You have to lower it on lines. Okay. Anyway, guys, oh my gosh, you guys, I can still listen. I may have a picture of this. I'm not going to get the picture of it. I'm not going to because it was so absurd. And I'm not going to name names. Chattanooga, tornado, 2020. A ministry comes in to help. The homeowner has insurance. House, downhill, multiple trees, mega tangled. It's like, I don't know, 10 trees, 15 trees, whatever it was. Huge trees, all tangled up on an uphill to the street over here. Tips resting on the house, scratched the house. And sent across the street with a crane. I would have done the job. I would have invoiced the carrier to do the job the right way. Because that was the right way. And this ministry came in. And look, dude, I love Jesus big time. You guys know that if you see any of my other channels. I am definitely not about, I mean, you guys know I'm a Christian and blah, blah, blah. Hold on one second. But I do have a problem when ministries come in and, number one, the volunteers that are doing that work sign waivers that say the ministry is not going to cover them if they get hurt. Number two, typically they are not, oh yeah, cool. Typically had a few people signing up on the mailing list. Sign up. You're going to trust me. This is the Kesef. I don't even know what the Kesef is. I just remember it from Boiler Room. It's a Northeast expression. So if I just curse, sorry. So where was I at? Yeah, they come in, they do work. And I was so upset during this particular thing. I almost lost, I was really upset. Because, listen, I don't like phoniness. My brain doesn't work well with phoniness. It works with exactness. And if there's coverage and you say you're helping a homeowner, but you're actually hurting them, and this is how they hurt them. They came in and they had these young studs, dude, college kids. They have two young studs with their sleeves off and their little hard hat. And then they had 5 girls taking the branches out to the street. And it's really funny because I'm like, dude, I got a $700,000 crane sitting right across the street and we can just hook up and fly the whole thing to the front and the carrier would pay. But here's what happened. And this was horrible because what they did is they went through and they sliced everything off. Now all of a sudden there's a 20-foot gap. Coverage is removing the fallen object off and also maintaining a safe work environment. They left that whole backyard completely dangerous. The object was laying there. It could have been flown out. There was coverage. And I had the manager of that ministry say, there's no coverage there. And I was like, dude, I'm a licensed adjuster. I know I'll do the job on contingency. Right? And what ended up happening is after they did it, they went away. And I know their hearts are good. Okay. I get that. But what they don't realize is now that homeowner has to pay for something that their insured would have paid, which is moving probably 100,000 pounds, 200,000 pounds worth of logs, maybe not 200, but for sure 100, up a hill and out, right? When it would have been covered. And there are a lot of times, guys, that the homeowners feel like they're a victim or whatever. And so they don't want to, I don't know. In that particular case, I just don't think that's loving people the best way that you can. I don't think that's loving people the best way you can. Okay. Trees across driveways are never covered. So I'm going to show you guys something real quick because this was the other day as well. This was 12 days ago. Man, I don't even know if I'm going to find it. We've had a lot of claims. Maybe it's going to take too long to find on this particular on this particular file. Hold on, I'm scrolling back through the last storm. That was a good photo. That made my Facebook, oh, look at this one! Oh! Look at that one! Look at that little bitty damage! Look at that! That's what I'm talking about. That's damage. Little gutter. Actually, it was a little more than that. I was happy to see that little bit of damage, but when you zoom in, which one is it? Hold on. You can really see. Yes, sometimes you have to illustrate very well. The chueco, as they would say in Spanish, es chueco. It's, oh, torcido. Torcido or chueco. Chueco. It's twisted. But that little lip on the end was like clear cut. Anyway, sorry. I'm seriously getting distracted here, you guys. I'm going to show you this one claim that we had. Hold on. 1 second. Okay. So, 1 second. Guys, I'm so sorry that it's taken so long. Annoying. Oh, I found it. Hold on. I didn't find it yet. It was right here. Okay. Check this out. This was... no, it wasn't. It wasn't that. We did a lot of Leland cypresses. Is this it? That's not it. Dude, guys, I am so sorry because I thought we had it. Oh, it was after that Leland cypress. Okay, I'm not going to spend any more time doing this. We did like a ton of Leland cypresses. Driveways. Okay, tree falls across 2 cars and across the driveway. There is ingress egress coverage, which means at times they need to cover the safe passage of people in and out. But a lot of times that ingress egress coverage is not going to get activated unless there's loss to the property. And this one, man, it's really irritated me because I really wanted to show you guys this. This one fell on 2 cars. However, the thing that it didn't do was touch, anything. The homeowner had 0 damage to their house. Okay, so that being said, because there was 0 damage to the house, that meant the homeowner's policy was not going to cover that. However, the car policy, heavy recovery. Okay, so check out, we didn't even talk about cars, but we need to talk about cars. Let's envision you're driving down the road, and I'm going to talk while I'm scanning. You're driving down the road, and you hit an uninsured motorist. And during the course of that uninsured motorist, their car flips into the air and lands on your car. When that happens, and you have full coverage, you have comprehensive. And part of that comprehensive is the moving of your car into the shop to get it repaired. Okay, it's been disabled. Disabled is the key word there. So in this case, and I am super irritated that I cannot find this because this was a disabled vehicle. I'm on the wrong day and I can't find it. Anyway, the tree went across 2 cars and it was ingress egress, but there was no damage to the house. So ingress egress coverage couldn't be argued. There was no uplifted sprinkler systems, gutter pipes, nothing. So there's 0 on the home portion. But there was damage to the car, and the car needed to get into the shop. And my fees for my crane is the same regardless. So they filed the claim with the car, and it was just like, okay, well, that's fine. This is heavy recovery. There are limits on policies for auto in that. Do you need to go? I can pause this. My awesome wife is so awesome. Yes or no? Okay, in a little while. She doesn't want to talk. So there can be limits on the car portion. Like there's no debris hauling. So all of the fees associated with like managing that material from where it lands off the crane to getting it to the road, and then the debris hauling once it's in the truck, getting it off the property. None of that coverage is there with car coverage, at least on that particular policy that I was dealing with. All of this is entertainment purposes only. This was a mega stream, bro. I'm going to ask, does anyone have a question? We got some people watching. Does anyone? Oh, dude, we're at 2 hours and we're only just beginning. So you need to sign up. Like and subscribe. Please share this. Share it with every tree guy. Every single tree guy needs to hear this information. Not only will it help us, but like in the case of Che Life, the case of Che Life from his comments earlier, when we can all understand what's reasonable and customary pricing, and understand the triggers and the limits and the way that the policies work, I think that can help us all. I think more than anything, it will help. More than anything, it's going to help maybe homeowners actually get the work done that needs to get done, that they're covered for, and not wind up in a situation where they have 100,000 pounds worth of wood in the backyard that they now have to pay that their carrier would have paid. Kind of like when a ton of volunteers are out like pulling trees off fences, you know, like if that's insured stuff, then just let the insurance carrier handle it. That's what you paid them for. Hit me with some questions. Actually, I kind of say that. You can email me, Mark at 770arborist.com if you want. If you want, you can message me on Facebook. You can message me on Facebook. You can. Oh, do not ever hit anything on pricing, please. That is a really huge deal. No pricing. Like, I'm not going to answer pricing questions. You have to figure out your own pricing. You can do. We are going to have videos on it, but we have to approach it very carefully. That's it, guys. Hit me up with your questions. Share the video. This is the insurance tree training class that's free to bless you guys, to bless your homeowners, so that you guys have information and watch it. Watch the video. Watch it over and over. I'm sorry it's so long-winded. I probably could talk for another 2 days on this subject, and I will. That being said, look at it, understand it, ingest it. And if you ever have a storm come through your area and you're like, I would love to hire or have or work with that guy or that guy's friends, call me. I will travel. Me and my team will travel anywhere in the country, literally, to come help you out for your overload. Like, if you can't get to everything, we'll come in and we will help you. On top of that, there will be other things coming very shortly. So all that said, go to that, join our mailing list and join it, ask some questions and share the video. God bless you guys. I hope this has been very, very helpful. I think we're going to check out at that point and call it a done